So my current focus is creation and evolution. No matter whether you realize it or not, every day you evolve. Not for me, because if it was for me, I would have been gotten revenge. And that's always how I was. I changed myself in order to be that person for them, to be that platform for them. The stipulations around my name, regardless of all the negativity that I'm fed, regardless of how some people treat me, I've tried to put myself in a position to ideally be able to motivate others to, for myself to suffice when it comes to this negative shit, because, like, bro, this shit, it's like trying to consume me. It's almost like it's trying to get inside of my mind, you know?
What's up, y'all? On today's lineup, we have Xxxtentacion, man, also known as X. And this is one of my favorite artists of all time. Him and Meek Mill, they're really fighting for that #1 spot. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to X, obviously, if you knew X before he really blew up, then you would know, he has certain things around his name. I'm not going to get into that in today's video. Just for the simple fact of 9 times out of 10, we already know what it is if you click this video. And if you don't, watch it from somebody else. I'm not going to spread that because I don't know what's true and what's not, and he's not here to defend himself. So it's not my place to talk about that. But one thing we can all know and all admit is that he did transform into something really, really inspiring. You can see why people got touched by him. Like, what I mean by that is you can see, like, if when he died, he had a lot of impact. A lot of people was affected by it that really didn't know him personally, but they still was affected by it. And once you really look into how he transformed his life, you can kind of see why people were so, connected to him or felt so connected to him. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what we're gonna be talking about in today's video, and some traits that I think we could take away from that and really apply it to our life to make our life better. But with all that being said, man, actually, I'm not even gonna get into the video yet. Let me give y'all a little intro on myself. My name is Rod. I'm a 17-year-old content creator and clothing brand owner, so I'm gonna be using these tips also with y'all. But now, let's get straight into the video. I love y'all. And yeah. All right. First thing, and I said this kind of in the last video too, but don't let the negativity outshine what you got going on, bro. Don't let the negativity get to you. And I feel like X is great at this, or was great at this, because I talked about this in the YoungBoy video I did yesterday. If y'all didn't watch that, go watch that after you watch this video. But one thing I really took from him is that, bro, although all these people was putting negative things on his names, whether that was false or true, I do not know, so we're not going to dive into that. But he still remained to do positive things, not only to change his image, quote unquote, but it mainly was just to something that he genuinely wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure it was times he did stuff and he didn't talk about it, but once I was getting information for this video, because I like to be a top tier, although I kind of knew the information, I still want to get some information. And I went to an academic stream, and I remember they was on a FaceTime call, and he was talking about academics, how it was this girl in Dunkin' Donuts, and she just looked down, and he gave her $500. And that's some things that I feel like the news wouldn't cover. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to put this negative stigma around his name, but he didn't let that defeat him and not let him do positive things that changed his life around. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I really seen is that I see him do a whole 360 even before he didn't have the kid while he was alive, but obviously he probably knew it was having a kid while he was alive. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too sure on that, but that's just my assumption on that part. But he definitely was able to rewrite the kind of the negative words that people put on him, even if it wasn't to the public's eye, but to himself. He was able to deal with that within himself, that he was doing something good. So that's one thing I feel like we could take to all the people that they may say negative things about, or people may think you're just as bad person, you made a mistake in your past or whatever, bro. You have the ability to rewrite that. You have the ability to not rewrite history, but to rewrite your name. You know what I'm saying? And even if the public don't really get that, as long as you rewrite it within yourself, that's all that matters, and that's all that's important. As long as you're able to come to grips with what you do and what you did was good for your environment and things like that, that's all that matters. Don't mind what the public says, what the public thinks of you, or anything like that, bro. So just remember that. Be good within yourself. Don't let the public dictate everything you have. You know what I'm saying? But with all that being said, that's going to end up tip #1. Now let's get straight into tip #2. All right, man, for #2, what I got for y'all is prioritize evolution within yourself. And one thing I really seen from what X did with this, and he would talk about this, and I seen two things. I saw 2 excerpts. I talked about this. He talked about this. I saw in the academics video that I was talking about earlier, And then it was another video he posted his YouTube channel. I think got deleted, but I was able, someone re-uploaded, so I was able to get some clips from there. But he was talking about how it's important to really emphasize evolving into something different. You know what I'm saying? Continue to evolve, continue to get smarter mentally, physically, spiritually, in every aspect of life. You know, continue to evolve at it. You know what I'm saying? And we saw that with him firsthand. You know what I'm saying? And not saying he wouldn't do the good things he did right before he died, and in 2015, 2016, but he really tapped into himself, and he really was like, I need to evolve. I need to get more smarter. I need to get more better, and just everything like that. And that's what he did. You know, as you know, he really started to get famous. He started to get more people to tune into his music and check him out and just be relatable to him. You know what I'm saying? He really started to realize, bro, he had to sit there and evolve his character. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't be the same X for 2015 that was getting in fights, beating people up. He had to be a new X, more calmer X, more peaceful X. You know what I'm saying? And more X that was tapped into his community, now that he has something, now that he has a little something to give to people, more than, you know, he didn't have anything back in the day. Not saying he didn't have anything back in the day, because I don't know, but I'm telling you, like, it was nothing comparable to what he had now, or what he had when before he died. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I always like to tell y'all when it comes to X. You know, if I tell anybody, I'll be like, man, X, like, really, one thing I really took away from him, like even before I made this video, when I was just listening to him, is that he always talked about becoming a better person, but just involving on all levels of life. You know, that's something I feel like we all can really learn from, or all need to do. Just like really prioritize evolving. You know what I'm saying? Not prioritizing staying the same level, or staying at this level of mediocrity. You know, getting to the level we want to be at, whether that's for financial gain or that's just for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that was very important. Something very good that he said. Something very good I think y'all can really take from that. You know what I'm saying? But with all that being said, that's it for the second tip. Now let's get into the last final tip, and probably the most important tip. So get your notebook out if you haven't already, and take some notes. Let's get into it. All right, y'all. Number 3, what I got for y'all, and this is probably the most important thing, but have a backbone. Stand on what you stand on. You know what I'm saying? And this is something that I continue to see X do. You know, if X saw something that wasn't right, no matter if you was his best friend, you was somebody in his circle, you could have gave him $1,000,000. He's gonna call you out on it. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't like the type to really turn the shoulder no matter who you was. You know what I'm saying? And that's eventually why I think a lot of times he made a beef with some of his friends at a certain point in time, because he would call them out on BS that they did. You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, I ain't gonna lie, it could have been vice versa, either or. You know what I'm saying? But definitely he made sure he was strong on that, and that's what I really looked at when I was looking through some of the old files, because, you know, just refreshing my memory on X, you know, and just some of the things he did. And that was one of the things I really saw that he really did well, was like he stood on what he stood on. No matter what, he was unapologetically himself. You know, no matter if it was like what was big on social media at the time or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right, if it's speaking for black people, he was gonna be there. You know, he has a song dedicated called Riot. You know what I'm saying? Y'all probably heard it before. And even he has a song on a Christmas album. I forgot what it's called. That's one of my favorite songs on that album, or mixtape, but I forgot what it's called. But yeah, he was talking on that song. I know that. And yeah, but X is definitely, I feel like, a good definition of really standing on what you stand on and having a backbone. And before he really exits out this video, I just want to say, if anybody that knew X, even met him one time before, saw him before, or you was family of him, I just want to say, man, condolences to you. Even though it's been I'm not sure how many years, but I know it still probably affects y'all. You know, and even me as a listener, it still affects me. And I didn't even know him personally, because X kind of motivated me in some certain aspects of life. Even when it comes to me chasing my dreams, that was another thing he was really big on. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? That really motivated me, you know, because obviously you may hear people say that, but that was somebody that really was like really connected to his fan base and the people that supported him. So I just want to say, long live X, RP to X, man. One of my favorite artists, tied him and me tied for me for number 1. And yeah, even just on a level deeper than music. But with all that being said, that's gonna wrap up today's video, man. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. And yeah, actually, I want y'all to listen to an X song. Comment your favorite X song in the comments too, bro. Mine's personally my favorite X song. I like "Save Me" a lot. I don't want to do this anymore. Vice City's hard. Skin's hard. Y'all heard of Skin. Snow's hard. F Love obviously is hard. He has a lot of good songs that I like. So RPX, one of my favorite artists is for sure. And yeah, but with all that being said, I love y'all. Y'all have a great rest of y'all night, and I'll see y'all folks tomorrow. Bye. Who I want